makes an enormous effort to defeat anti-American and anti-freedom forces around the world. He also understands that when faced with multiple adversaries across the globe, the Reagan principle of peace through strength is the only road for safety for the America and the American people. The contrast between President Trump's realistic policy of resolute strength in a dangerous world, President Biden's policies of appeasement, weakness, and self-delusion may be the biggest difference between the Make America Great Again movement and the Make America Weak ideology of the left. We have to remember that the greatest threat to American safety is not Biden's brain. The greatest threat is Biden's policies and the people he appoints to implement them. He is working towards appeasement when the world today is incredibly dangerous. A growing coalition of dictatorships is actively trying to undermine American power and conquer America's allies. A religious dictatorship in Iran, which chants death to America, is on the verge of having nuclear weapons. Russia's dictator has unleashed the deadliest European war since World War II. Communist China continues to develop its military power while actively seeking to undermine America through espionage, fentanyl, and the infiltration of our companies and our universities. Faced with these clear and present dangers, President Biden has adopted failed policy after failed policy. Where President Trump orchestrated an orderly end to the Afghanistan war with no American killed in nearly 2 years. Biden ordered a chaotic, panic-filled withdrawal that left 13 American troops and hundreds of Afghans dead. Where President Trump insisted on keeping Bagram Air Base, which is located within 1 hour of the Chinese nuclear facilities, President Biden gave it to the Taliban, who are now allied with Communist China. Where President Trump brokered the Abraham Accords and was moving the Middle East toward peace and cooperation, President Biden's weakness and confusion led to a terrible Hamas assault, killing more than 1,200 innocent people in Israel. Under Trump, we achieved peace through strength. Under Biden, we have war, suffering, death, and a world teetering on the edge of World War III. Like Prime Minister Winston Churchill and President Abraham Lincoln, President Trump understands that only a firm, courageous policy of strength will work in a dangerous world. The message for this November is clear. You can vote for weakness and war with Biden, or you can vote for strength and peace with President Trump. Let's dedicate ourselves to making America safe, strong, and proud again with President Trump. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Director of the United States Office of Trade and Manufacturing Policy, Peter Navarro.
This is a beautiful thing. I think I think you folks just want to know if you can see my MAGA tattoo I got there. Yes, indeed. This morning I did walk out of a federal prison in Miami. Joe Biden and his Department of Injustice put me there. Tonight I'm here with you in this beautiful city of Milwaukee. I got a very simple message for you. If they can come for me, and if they can come for Donald Trump, be careful, they will come for you. If we don't control our government, their government will control us. If we don't control all three branches of our government, legislative, executive, and judicial, their government will put some of us, like me and Steve Bannon, in prison and control the rest of us. Here's how it went. Here's how I got in prison. The legislative branch came for me first. Your favorite Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, created your favorite committee, the sham January 6th committee, which demanded that I violate executive privilege. What did I do? I refused. The J6 committee demanded that I betray Donald John Trump to save my own skin. I refused. Here's the thing about the Constitution. They demanded that I break the law because they have no respect for it. I refused. And a Democrat majority in the House then voted to hold me in contempt. All right, what happened next? The next jackboot to drop was the executive branch. Another one of your favorite Democrats, Democrat Attorney General Merrick Garland. There's a winner. Him and Jack Smith indicted and prosecuted me for criminal contempt of Congress. Now, here's what's weird about it. It's something that Democrat prosecutors refused to do against one of their own, including two guys with blood on their hands, Eric Holder and Alejandro Mayorkas, the great border czar, right? They've actually gotten people killed. For decades, the Department of Injustice right now, the Department of Justice policy stated, hear me out on this, if Congress slaps a subpoena on a senior White House advisor like me, the advisor's duty is to politely tell them to go pound sand. That's exactly what I did. So far we got two branches, legislative and executive. The judicial branch delivered the final blow. Just as, here's another favorite of yours, just as Democrat Judge Juan Marchand, you know this guy? Did to Donald John Trump in his Manhattan kangaroo court, another Democrat judge, a guy named Ahmed Maida, keep your eye on this guy, Ahmed Maida, Obama appointee, they stripped me of every possible defense, and then what? Just like in Manhattan with Donald Trump, they threw me to the wolves of an anti-Trump jury, and where? The D.C. swamp. They convicted me. They jailed me. Guess what? They did not break me. And they will never break Donald Trump. They will never break Donald Trump. All right, now here's the most important thing I'm going to tell you. You may be thinking this couldn't happen to you. Make no mistake, they're already coming for you. Joe and Kamala, they threw out the woke blue carpet across the Rio Grande, opened our borders to what? Murderers and rapists. When Donald Trump said it, thank you for saying that, when Donald Trump said murderers, rapists in 2016, they go, oh, racist, whatever. We read the papers. It's murderers and rapists. Murderers and rapists, drug cartels, human traffickers, terrorists, Chinese spies, and a whole army of illiterate, illegal aliens stealing the jobs of black, brown, and blue-collar Americans. They put them right on your front doorstep. Now, here's another thing Joe Biden did. You got to love this. The green new scam. We're in the heart here in Milwaukee, around all this. This is where the auto industry, that new scam is destroying our industry, leaving us at the mercy of the battery factories in Shanghai and slave labor in the Congo. Biden inflation. You're going to hear a lot of this because it's so friggin' true. Biden inflation is coming after what's left of your savings and eating your wages. And the Democrats, here's the thing. I'm sitting in prison thinking about this. It just eats at me as the Democrats come for your kids. They're indoctrinating them with poisonous attitudes on race and gender. And here's the thing, when politics fails, the investigations and prosecutions begin. They did it to me. They're going to do it to Trump. But hear me out. They've also done it to Catholics, pro-life activists, and parents who are just standing up for the kids at school board meetings. This is a tale of two Americas, and you know it wasn't this way when Donald Trump was president. I remember the days I was there. In Trump's America, you were safe and our borders were secure. In Trump's America, you were more prosperous, and you didn't have to choose between what? Food on the table, medicine in the cabinet, and a roof over your head. And in Trump's America, you didn't have to worry about being locked up for disagreeing with the government. I went to prison so you won't have to. I am your wake-up call. All right, this is where I'm going to have fun now, because I'm going to leave you now with the last three words my beautiful fiancé said when I left that morning for prison. They weren't, "I love you." That was a given. She simply said, "We got this. We got this." That's what bring my girl out now. That's what these lawfare jackals don't understand. When they put people like me in prison and fire figurative and now literal bullets at Donald Trump, they also assault our families. On Election Day, America will hold these lawfare jackals accountable. Now, here's the sweetest thing that's going to come off my lips. Vote Trump Vance. 24 for Trump 47. I'm Peter Navarro. I went to prison so you won't have to. This is my beautiful girl. She did the time with me. That's what these friggin' Democrats don't understand. They do this to our families. She's my girl. Yeah. I love you. Let's win. Do not let up. Do not let up. Pedal to the metal till November.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz of Texas.
Hello, Milwaukee. On behalf of the great state of Texas, it is an honor to be with you tonight. I am the proud granddaughter of Mexican farm workers who came here with little more than faith in God. They never had much money, but they instilled in us strong Texas values. They taught me that through hard work, anything is possible in America. And then I proved it. By getting myself through school and building a successful small business. It wasn't easy, but I'm living proof that the American dream, el sueño americano, can become reality. Only in America can a little girl from South Texas go from watching her abuelo pick watermelons to serving in the people's house. Now, as a mother, I often think about my kids' future, and I'm worried. The American dream is slipping away. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris make it impossible for hardworking Americans like the people in my community to get ahead. Their policies put home ownership out of reach. Wages can't keep up with inflation. They give benefits to illegal immigrants and cut Medicare Advantage for our seniors. They say their immigration policies are compassionate, but there's nothing compassionate about open borders. They threaten our national security, flood our country with deadly drugs, killing our precious children. Biden and Harris don't care about immigrants. They just use them for political gain. We deserve so much better. We must make America strong again by re-electing President Trump. Under his leadership, we can put hardworking Americans first again, end this border crisis. We can restore peace and prosperity, creating an amazing future with endless possibilities, and we can rebuild the most vital institution of all, the American family. Together, we can turn Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's national nightmare into a revival of the American dream. Thank you, Milwaukee. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Acting Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Tom Homan.
Thank you. How you doing? My home state, New York. Where's New York at? Give me a shout. Damn right. Look, for those who don't know me, my name is Tom Homan. I began my career as a Border Patrol agent in 1984. After 34 years, I became the first director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, that actually came up through the ranks. I've worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I've worked for said they're going to secure the border. President Trump actually did it. He created the most secure border in our history, and that's a stone cold fact. The data proves it, and guess what? He's going to do it again. Under President Trump, we cut illegal immigration by 90%, the lowest level in 45 years. Deportations rose to the highest level ever, including historic numbers of illegal alien gang members and criminals. Most importantly, 4 years under President Trump, we had 13 people we arrested on a terrorist watch list. Joe Biden, 381. And let's remember, we got over 2 million known gotaways. How many of them came from a country that sponsored terrorism? God help us. Biden is the first president in American history to come into office and unsecure a border. Who the hell does that? On their first day in office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris suspended deportations. They stopped the border wall. They canceled Remain in Mexico. They reinstated catch and release. They proposed amnesty for millions, along with free health care. And now we have a record illegal immigration, a record number of women and children being sex trafficked, a record number of Americans dying from fentanyl, a record number of known as suspected terrorists sneaking across our border. And here's what you need to know. This isn't mismanagement. This isn't incompetence. This is by design, and it's a choice. It's national suicide. But you know what? On November 5th, the American people do have a choice, and they're going to stop this madness. I got a message. As a guy who spent 34 years deporting illegal aliens, I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home. I got another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done. President Trump is going to end the Biden-Harris open border madness. We will stop the drugs and the crime from pouring into your neighborhoods. President Trump has proven to the American people that he's a warrior. And he's going to make America safe again, and you can take that to the bank.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage David Lara.
Hello, Milwaukee. Quiero dar un saludo a toda la comunidad y audiencia hispana. I am a proud husband and father of a small business in San Luis, Arizona. a town that sits directly on the U.S.-Mexico border. We are the front line of the Biden's border crisis. Small towns like mine bear the brunt of the chaos. Imagine crowds rushing the port, overwhelming Border Patrol when they know they don't have enough agents to detain everyone. Imagine strangers terrorizing your homes, your neighbors, your yards, and local schools going fearful to let children walk home. Imagine the fire department using off-road vehicles to bring your neighbors to the hospital because the ambulances are taken by so-called asylum seekers. Imagine being treated as second-class citizens as chaos and crime overwhelm your streets. I don't have to imagine this. I've watched it with my own eyes. I've seen my town suffer because Biden and Kamala Harris want the illegal immigration crisis to continue. And no amount of suffering has changed their mind or convinced them to finally put Americans first. In San Luis, Mexican drug cartels use school children as mules. Let that sink in. Deadly drugs flow through our town, bringing crime and violence. San Luis wasn't always this way, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do not care. In fact, they seem satisfied. They have done nothing to stop it and everything to make it worse. They have never set foot on my border town. 4 years ago, president who believed in borders, and we have a president who traveled all the way to San Luis. We had a president who cared, and we can have that president again. We must re-elect President Trump to close the border, the crime, and stop the drugs from pouring in. We must re-elect President Trump to imprison and deport violent gang members instead of coddling them, terrorize our nation. We must re-elect President Trump to put our citizens first and make America strong again. Los Latinos estamos con Trump. Thank you, Milwaukee. American Latinos for Trump.
welcome Arizona ranchers Jim and Sue Chilton.
My name is Jim Chilton, and this is my beautiful wife, Sue. We've been married for 60 years. I'm a fifth-generation rancher from Arivaca, Arizona, the great state of Arizona. 5.5 miles of our ranch is the U.S.-Mexico border. It's a known route for drug smuggling and human trafficking. On the screen, you'll see footage from our ranch. Since Joe Biden took office, our hidden cameras have recorded over 3,500 drug packers and others dressed in camouflage marching north through our ranch. These are not asylum seekers. It looks like and it feels like an invasion because it is. In April alone, over 5,000 additional unvetted aliens entered our ranch claiming economic asylum. We know firsthand that Biden's open border is our nation's greatest national security threat. We need to make America safe again.
Every time Jim leaves the ranch house, I have to worry that he won't come back alive. Our house has been broken into twice. A Border Patrol agent was shot 5 times by drug smugglers on our ranch. This year alone, 3 crossers died of dehydration on our ranch. The cartel drug smugglers are crossing our nation's border every day. They are bringing lethal drugs into our country. This is chemical warfare. It's killing Americans. Under President Donald Trump, it wasn't like this. And if we bring him back, I know he'll stop it again.
Biden, Harris, and the Democrats who support open borders are complicit in this death, in the death of tens of thousands of American citizens. When Joe Biden took office, the Trump wall was nearly complete on our ranch. But Biden halted the construction and stopped the installation of all the planned electronics. Since then, crossing on our ranch has increased 5-fold. 5-fold. It's like Biden and Harris want the lawlessness. The fact is that walls work. We must elect Donald Trump to finish the wall. To stop the cartels. and we must keep America safe and strong. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless all of you.
Texas, Greg Abbott.
Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much. Come on, let's go. As governor of the largest border state, the great state of Texas, I can tell you, America needs a president who will secure our border. America needs Donald J. Trump. The president's most sacred duty is to secure our country. Donald Trump fulfilled that duty by eliminating illegal immigration. Under President Trump, we had the lowest illegal border crossings in about 4 decades. By contrast, however, Joe Biden deserted his duty. On his first day in office, he gutted President Trump's policies. And the result has been catastrophic. Under Joe Biden, illegal immigration has skyrocketed. Under his watch, around 11 million immigrants have crossed our border illegally. That's more than the entire population of Michigan. It's twice the population of Wisconsin. Biden has welcomed into our country rapists, murderers, even terrorists, and the price that we have paid has been deadly. Among the many victims was 12-year-old Jocelyn from Houston, Texas, raped and murdered by 2 illegal immigrants. She's one of thousands whose lives have been destroyed by Joe Biden's open border policies. To make matters even worse, Biden is even fighting tooth and nail to stop Texas and other Republican states from securing our own borders. I deployed thousands of National Guard soldiers to build hundreds of miles of razor wire barriers. Give it up for our National Guard. They built those barriers to stop illegal crossings. When Joe Biden ordered to cut that razor wire, I ordered the National Guard to triple the razor wire on the border. When Biden took 50 acres of Texas border property to illegally process up to 5,000 illegal immigrants a day, I directed the Texas National Guard to take back our land and wire it shut. Now, there's no longer 5,000 people crossing the border like there was under Joe Biden. Now that the National Guard wired that shut, on average, there is one illegal immigrant crossing the border at that location a day. When Joe Biden and Kamala Harris refused to even come to Texas and to see the border crisis that they created, I took the border to them. I began busing illegal immigrants to Washington, D.C. And we have continued busing migrants to sanctuary cities across the entire country. And those buses will continue to roll until we finally secure our border. Fortunately, I see hope on the horizon, because on November the 5th, Joe Biden will be fired. And Donald Trump will once again become the President of the United States of America. He will enforce the immigration laws. He will fight the Mexican drug cartels. And he will arrest the criminal illegal immigrants and put them behind bars. Or send them back. It is time to restore order at the border. It is time to rid our streets of crime and chaos. It is time to secure our nation by returning Donald Trump as President of the United States of America. Thank you all. God bless.
and energy advocate, Sarah Phillips.
Good evening, Milwaukee. This past Saturday, I was at the Trump rally in Butler. I, in fact, was the first speaker on stage that day. As you can imagine, it was a terrifying experience, but nothing was going to stop me from being here to support President Trump. Thank God President Trump is alive. I'm Sarah Phillips, and I'm honored to speak to you about one of the most important issues in this campaign, energy. President Trump is high energy and supports energy. Biden is low energy and is against energy. The difference is significant for you and significant for our country. President Trump understands that abundant, affordable energy is vital to our economy and to our national security. Meanwhile, President Biden is pushing the Green New scam. President Biden declared war on the oil and gas industry since day one. He canceled the Keystone Pipeline, overrode congressionally directed oil lease sales in Alaska, and has proposed massive tax hikes on oil and gas. His campaign against responsible development of oil and gas is crushing everyday Americans like you and me. I know this firsthand. As a petroleum engineer who worked on the front lines as a roughneck, I have witnessed the safe and environmentally responsible way America develops oil and gas resources. And I have worked side by side with those in the field who I consider family and who are dedicated and hardworking. Their critical work is so critical for our country. The hydrocarbons that are being extracted are a true gift. From powering our cars and heating our homes to being a building block for fertilizer, plastic, and many other products, our society and our standard of living could not exist without fossil fuels. Texas. That is among the many reasons why we need to return Donald Trump to the White House. With President Trump back in charge, we'll not only be energy independent, we'll be energy dominant. We'll create jobs, increase investment, and improve our national security. Under President Trump's leadership, America's great economic revival will be powered by American energy. He did it before, and he will do it again. For the sake of our economy, for the sake of our quality of life, and for the sake of America's future, let's return Donald Trump to the White House. Texas. Drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby. Navy drill.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mayor of East Palestine, Ohio, Trent Conaway.
Good evening. February 3rd, 2023 began like any other Midwestern day, but in a heartbeat, everything changed. I'm Trent Conaway, the proud mayor of East Palestine, Ohio. When the train derailed, spewing flames and toxic chemicals to our town, faced a disaster unlike we'd ever seen. And in the chaos, we witnessed a clear contrast between leadership and incompetence. Our first responders didn't hesitate. They raced to the scene, they battled the flames, and evacuated our citizens. And for that, I want to thank every one of them tonight. Unfortunately, the Biden administration's federal response was much different. It consisted almost entirely of meetings and press events. They talked and talked, but they delivered little help. Then there was a clear difference between former President Trump and President Biden. For the longest time, the White House was silent, and we never heard a word from Vice President Harris. I guess we weren't their type of folks. No Hollywood elites or Wall Street billionaires live in East Palestine, just hardworking Americans. But Donald Trump cared. First, he called to ask permission to visit, not wanting to intrude, and then he asked how he could help. When he arrived with fresh pallets of drinking water, he met with everyone, from first responders to local officials and residents. He toured the derailment site. He listened to us, and he shared a meal with volunteers at a local McDonald's. His presence was genuine. His concern was real. After a year of criticism, President Biden finally did show up. His appearance was brief, forced, and scripted. He met with a select few and then left. We needed so much, and he delivered so little. I know a thing or two about train wrecks now, and let me tell you, that's what the Biden administration has been. Before President Biden derails our entire nation, we need to act. We need a leader who values small-town communities as much as big cities. We need a president who loves all Americans. We need Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Governor of North Dakota, Doug Burgum.
Hello, Milwaukee. And hello, North Dakota. Feels good to be here. The last time I was in Milwaukee, in this building, standing behind a podium was for the debate, and I stood on one leg for 2 hours. You guys might remember I blew my Achilles the day before. But to kick things off, I have a question for you, and I need your help answering so nice and so loud that everyone at home can hear you. Are you ready? Who will make America energy dominant? Again, who will make America energy dominant? Well, that's pretty good, but it's after 4 p.m. in D.C., so how about one more time loud enough to wake up Joe Biden? Who will make America energy dominant? That's right, because when President Trump unleashes American energy, we unleash American prosperity, and we ensure our national security. Serving as a governor with President Trump was like having a beautiful breeze at our back. He cut taxes and he cut red tape. Serving as a governor under Joe Biden has been like a gale force wind in our face. Biden's war on energy hurts every American because the cost of energy is in everything we use or touch every day. Biden's red tape has raised the price of the gas in your car, the cost of food on your table, the clothes on your back, and it's even raised your rent. Biden's green agenda feels like it was written by China, Russia, and Iran. Let's look at Biden's EV mandates. Where do nearly all the batteries and rare earth minerals come from? China, you know. And the day that Biden halted permits for clean U.S. natural gas export facilities, just think about the party they must have thrown that night at the Kremlin. Because Biden's policies are making Russia and Iran filthy rich. And they're using that money to fund wars and terrorism against our allies. At home, Biden is acting like a dictator. He's using mandates to shut down reliable baseload electricity. That's why your electric bills have soared upwards as our nation's electric grid reliability spirals downward. 4 more years of Joe will usher an era of Biden brownouts and blackouts. Imagine no electricity for your fridge, your lights, or air conditioning. President Trump will ensure that there is power for you, and importantly, that we have the power as the United States to beat China in the AI arms race. Unleashing American energy dominance is our path back to prosperity and peace through strength. Teddy Roosevelt encouraged America to speak softly and carry a big stick. Energy dominance will be the big stick that President Trump will carry. Yes, President Trump will make sure that America is selling energy to our allies versus buying it from our adversaries. Innovation has always been the source of American greatness, and President Trump champions innovation over regulation. Last year, over that whole year, my wife Catherine and I traveled all across America. As all of you know, it's rural America that feeds the world, that fuels the world, and defends the world. Small towns with a huge impact, and rural America is Trump country. In North Dakota, we know one thing for sure because we've seen him do it, and that's that the hardest working president in American history is Donald J. Trump. President Trump cares deeply about every American, rig workers, truck drivers, roughnecks, and yes, America's great farmers and ranchers. President Trump cares deeply about you. We know that he'll fight for us, he'll fight for our families, and we know one more thing. He'll let all of you keep driving your gas-powered cars. When President Trump unleashes energy dominance, he will make America affordable again. He will make America strong again. And when President Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance together, they will make America great again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former counselor to President Donald J. Trump, Kellyanne Conway.
Good evening, Patriots. 8 years ago, Donald Trump shocked the system and defied the doubters to become the 45th president of the United States. He didn't want fortune or fame, power and position. He already had all of that. Donald Trump and his family made enormous sacrifices to run and to serve as president. He didn't need to do it. He wanted to do it. My relationship with Mr. Trump was forged under fire in a foxhole in 2016 after he asked me to be his campaign manager. We had no idea that he was making history as the first successful presidential nominee ever to tap a woman to lead a campaign. But that was a natural for Donald J. Trump. He had elevated women in New York real estate decades before when few people would. One morning, I was in an early senior staff meeting in the White House, and as I glanced around the table, something caught my eye. In that meeting were Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Mercedes Schlapp, Brooke Rollins, Ivanka Trump, and me. I soon realized that among us, we have 19 children. At the time, ages 2 through 16.